of what it is now.
10%, 8 millilitres. Or whatever, milligrams, or whatever it is. Allow me to tell you that if you had a bit of a binge on Friday night, and then got into your motor vehicle on Monday morning, it is perfectly possible that you would have more than that amount of alcohol in your blood. Are you seriously suggesting that people should not be allowed to drive a motor vehicle for 3 days after they've taken a drink?
No, I'm not a doctor.
I know you're not a doctor, that is all too obvious.
Maybe the level should be set.
Andy, that level was set after consultation with medical practitioners.
Yes, but okay, to take that a stage further, why is it that another European country feels that it is necessary to set a level which isn't, just over a third what our level is?
The answer to that, Andy, is I don't know and have no desire to know why other European countries do it.
Yeah, they've taken some thought and time over that.
Well, we've taken considerable thought and time over our level. Indeed, we were the first to set such a level, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong. It was 1968, and my memory of 1968 is quite vague.
Take point to another stage as well. I think it's wrong that all the publicity and everything should only take place at this particular time of year.
Well, the problem with that is cost, and they like to consolidate the publicity for best impact. And if you're going to do that, then you might as well have best impact at time of highest risk. Which
but they're also putting more police out on the roads.
They are indeed, and once again, the object being to deter people by presence of police, which is a very sensible point of view.
Well, surely if they've got the resources to do that, and the men working to do that, I wouldn't think they'll be doubling up staff purely to cover breakfast.
They won't be doubling up staff, but they will be having less police on leave and less police on courses and the like at Christmas, because of course courses end just before Christmas, so there's all that sort of thing. A lot of the administration that policemen do will be left until after Christmas, so they will be putting those policemen in squad cars and on the streets instead of behind desks and the like. And of course that can only be done for a short period of time, so once again you consolidate at the time of highest risk. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, okay. Just to round off then, my main point is that I don't think they're strict enough with the laws as they stand.
Perhaps the answer, Andy, let me suggest to you that the answer isn't in the law, but in the penalty. Perhaps people are prepared to risk it for two reasons. One, you only lose your licence for a year, and two, you rarely get caught. Did you know that it's a 1 in 40 chance of getting caught? Now, those are fairly good odds.
Yeah, I can believe that, because
So, is the answer to have random testing, random breathalyzers?
Possibly.
So that would be a step in the right direction, wouldn't it?
I still think there should be more people stopped and more people...
well, the only way we could do that is either with more policemen or else less regulations about why they are stopped. In other words, random testing.
Or, if they were taking in random testing, they could sort of set up mini roadblocks and things like that.
Of course they could.
Rattle them off in no time.
Absolutely sensible. Perfectly prepared to agree with you on that.
Okay, thank you, Allan.
All right, Tara.
Tommy Ball of Blackburn starts his greatest ever sale on Friday the 27th of December, with thousands of pairs of shoes on offer at bargain prices. Make it a great day out for all the family. At the same time, give your feet a New Year treat at the one and only Tommy Ball's Blackburn. We're open Monday to Thursday 10 till 5, Fridays 10 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 6, but we're closed New Year's Day. There's parking for hundreds of cars, and coaches are more than welcome. Come along to the one and only Tommy Ball's greatest ever shoe sale at Hart Street, Blackburn.
Blackburn Council must be thick not letting him open on a Sunday. How do, Lisa? Lisa has nothing to say. She's put the phone down. Hello, Frank. Frank, it's little point in having so much noise in the room. We can't have a conversation. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, Alan. I think that people who live in a country which is governed in a democratic way should have the right to watch what they want to on television. Hello, Alan.
Well, Matthew, You do have the right to watch what you want to on television.
No, we don't. We don't see, horror movies and
Matthew,
things like that.
what you're saying isn't that you should have the right to watch it.
No.
But just a moment.
Sorry.
You have the right to watch whatever is on your television, correct?
No, well, the television
Matthew,
companies
listen.
don't have the right to put what we want to.
Matthew, that wasn't what you said. You said people should have the right to watch what is on television. You do have that right.
Okay, I give you...
So what you're saying is the television companies should have the right to put on the television whatever they want to.
That's right. Don't you think that? Don't you think that's so?
It's irrelevant what I think, Matthew. Why do you think that?
Well, I think if it's a democratic country, we're allowed to watch what we want to. Oh, the television companies should have the right, they should have the right to put on what they want to. And, if people don't want
Matthew,
to watch what's on...
would you like to tell me what you mean by a democratic country?
Well,
Are you suggesting... Matthew, we can't do it because I don't think you have the ability to explain the meaning of the word even in your terms.
Yes,
Would you like to
I have
tell
the
me...
ability, yes.
Would you like to tell me whether you think Britain is a democratic country?
Yes, I do, yes. I think it's a
Now,
democracy. I think it's a democracy.
Excellent. Now, in our democracy,
Yes.
we have a rule of law. You understand that?
Yeah.
Do you accept the necessity of that?
Yes. I accept, yes,
Now,
parts of it. Obviously,
What do you mean parts of it? Are you telling me now that people should be able to pick and choose which bits of law they obey?
No, I'm not saying. I'm
No.
saying that there is
So
fault.
do you
It is a law.
agree?
I'm saying that there is fault.
Do you agree then, Matthew, that a process of democracy requires that individuals are elected to positions of control of the majority?
Yeah.
And those individuals so elected have the right, at law, in that democracy, to make rules which will be detrimental to the pleasure of a large proportion, possibly even a majority of those people.
Yeah.
And that those people, so, what should we say, controlled, have the right at some future date, decided by statute, that they will have the right to change those individuals in control.
But a democracy is all about hearing what the minority wants as well as what the majority wants.
Is it indeed? Then why do they not have a government of minority?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that the government...
Matthew,
also
what
in
you're
power-
saying
the
is...
government in power also represents the minority.
Yes, it does.
Right.
So are you
suggest that fact? Is that all right?
I'm prepared to accept that, Matthew.
Right,
The
that's
problem is the government has to take on board all points of view and then make a decision. Now, the government has made its decision. Now, you are one of the minority, or appear to be one of the minority, that suffers, in this case, that suffers as a result of that decision. Tough. That is democracy.
Right. Could
Goodbye.
you cut me off, please, Alan?
It's easy to cut you off, Matthew. You're a cretin. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Alan. I'd like to tell you about the most commonly told lies. Now, the first one, by a long shot, has to be, I love you.
Matthew, you've obviously been listening to... Martin, sorry. You've obviously been listening to Radio 4 last week. I heard it all then. I don't need to hear it from you.
Pi Motors for Ford. More fantastic Ford offers from Pi Motors. Escort 1.1 Saloon 4329. XR3i 7135. Orions from 5579. These are drive-away prices, and there's 4.9% finance on Escorts, Orions, Sierras, and Capri Lasers. That's an amazing 9.5 APR. Don't forget our Fiesta red carpet plan. Many Fords in stock, all at unbeatable prices. Pi Motors, Parliament Street, Lancaster, Northgate, Morecambe.
Pi Motors.
A hi-fi system will give many hours of pleasure, providing you select the right unit. Lynn Products, Mission, Cyrus, Monitor Audio, and Rotel are some of the finest names in hi-fi to appoint Norman Audio as their sole dealer in Preston. You too can trust Norman Audio to offer you the very best value for money and after-sales service. Whether you want a compact disc player, a complete system, or a mere stylus. For free professional advice, contact Norman Audio on Preston 53057 or call at the new Fishergate Centre, 5 Butler Street, Preston.
How do to Andrew?
I do, Alan.
I'd like to talk to you about an incident that happened on my father's farm yesterday afternoon. I do a bit of clay pigeon shooting on my father's farm. And I was out on one of my dad's field when I was approached by two police fellas in a car. One of them...
A car?
Yeah.
In a field?
Yeah, they come down the track.
I see.
Which one of them snatched the gun off me, saying that I wasn't old enough to have a gun, a shotgun certificate, and where they lived, and so. I told him where they lived. It was just across the field. He followed me back home, where he asked me to see my shotgun certificate. And when I've misplaced it somewhere, and he said I'd be summoned.
Good.
It's breaking the law not
Excellent.
to have your shotgun certificate with you.
Glad to hear it.
So you not agree with that?
Andrew, do you know the law pertaining to shotguns?
Yeah.
Would you like to tell me what the law says about the shotgun certificate?
Well, Alan, you don't have to have phoned up Liverpool's Firearms Division, and the law is you don't have to carry a shotgun certificate with you.
Fine, but would you like to tell me what the law is, not what it isn't?
It's what to do with safety-wise, or...
No, what the law says about the shotgun certificate. I realise you hear a lot of loud bangs in your life, Andrew, but I didn't realise it would make you totally deaf.
Well, you don't have to carry a shotgun certificate.
Allow me to say to you, Andrew, because you obviously don't know enough about it, and therefore, as far as I'm concerned, are not fit to hold such a document, but the shotgun certificate must be kept in a safe place. It must be available for inspection by the police or any other right and proper person to do so. All right?
Yeah.
Yours isn't. You are a felon. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll do Craig.
Hello, Mr. Beswick. I'd like to talk about nuclear power if I'm here. And nuclear
What do you know about nuclear power?
Well, I was on a couple of weeks ago explaining...
I don't care what you were doing a couple of weeks ago, Craig. Your life history is of no concern of mine. Would you like to tell me what you know and what you want to say about nuclear power?
That these marches...
What marches?
That the CND group...
CND has got very little to do with nuclear power.
Well, I added on at the end if you...
Yes, well, I'm not interested in what you added on at the end. You said you wanted to speak about nuclear power. Do so, or get off. Goodbye. I'll do Thelma.
Hello, Alan. May I read you a Christmas poem, please?
No, you may not.
Oh.
Sorry? I have no way of knowing that you have written it.
Pardon? I always send it right.
I don't care. I have no way of knowing that you have written it. Have I?
Well, you will if you hear it.
If I hear it and then discover you haven't, the copyright has already been breached.
I don't think so. It's all my own work.
Indeed, everybody that comes on claims it to be their work.
I have read you some before.
Indeed, Thelma.
Yes, I have.
And I'm still sorting out the litigation.
What
Goodbye.
do you mean, the litigation?
Litigation. Breach of copyright. Poems have been read on this programme by people who claimed they were theirs, and they were not. I don't care what your claim is, Thelma. I do not allow people to read poems on this programme. There. Isn't that simple? Colleen, we shall be with you at the end of the news, which is quite some time away. In fact, a full 5 seconds.
Red Rose Radio.
The Midnight News, this is Alan King. The family of a man who died from complications due to smoking have lost their fight against a major American cigarette manufacturer. The company, R.J. Reynolds, was being sued for $1 million in a Californian court. Andrew Manderstam reports.
The deceased, John Galbraith, who was 69 when he died of lung cancer, smoked 3 packets of cigarettes a day for more than 50 years. But a jury in Santa Barbara ruled that smoking was an act of free will, even though the packets didn't carry any health warnings. The basis of the case brought by Mr. Galbraith's widow and her 3 children. The verdict is viewed as a major victory for the tobacco industry. There are 40 similar actions pending in America against cigarette manufacturers. Andrew Manderstam, IRN, Washington.
7 white people, including 3 children, have been killed in a bomb attack on a busy shopping centre in South Africa. The blast came as Christmas holidaymakers poured into the shopping arcade at the sunny beach resort south of Durban. The authorities are blaming the explosion on the African National Congress, although no one has yet admitted responsibility. France has officially admitted its responsibility for seeking the Rainbow Warrior, the Greenpeace ship, in New Zealand last summer, and the French are to pay compensation. 2 French agents have been jailed in New Zealand for their part in bombing the ship and killing a crew member. A drunken driver who's been described as a danger to the public will be spending this Christmas and probably next in prison after being jailed for nearly 3 years. John Beasley reports from Northampton.
32-year-old unemployed Christopher Mullen from Northampton admitted to 18 charges, most of them motoring offences. The court heard how on one occasion earlier this year he'd been stopped after colliding with another car. The next day he was caught going the wrong way up a one-way street. On each occasion he was well over the limit. He also admitted to charges of theft and deception, careless driving and refusing to give a breath test. In mitigation, Mullen told the court that his reliance on alcohol was to blame. He added that it was only by the grace of God that he'd not killed or maimed anyone. Judge Wilson Meller told him he was a danger to the public, jailed him for 33 months and banned him from driving for 10 years. John Beasley, IRN, Northampton.
Swansea City Football Club has been handed a dramatic reprieve from certain closure. As Mike Vince reports, a High Court judge has given the 3rd Division club one last chance.
It took Mr Justice Scott 50 minutes in the High Court this afternoon to give the club a stay of the winding up order made last Friday until the 13th of January. He did so after hearing that a group of club directors had made money available to fund its future operations. It now means club officials have a short breathing space to try and form a new company to take over the club, which in the meantime will run under the control of a Swansea chartered accountant appointed by the court. The club's match at Cardiff on Boxing Day, meanwhile, now definitely goes ahead.
A policewoman has lost a claim that she's a victim of sexual discrimination because she was ordered to lose weight. 13-stone Susan MacLeod, who worked at the Defence Ministry, has told the tribunal that her portly male colleagues were not treated in the same way. But the tribunal in Plymouth decided that, in the same circumstances, a man would also have been told to lose weight. Independent Radio News.
Allan Beswick. Christmas with Red Rose.
It's 3 minutes past midnight, so welcome to Christmas Eve. Legend has it that 71 years ago today, in 1914, German and British troops laid down their arms and met each other in no man's land for a game of football. After the Christmas truce was over, the troops on both sides were reluctant to return to the fighting and were taken from the front line and fresh troops brought in to return to the carnage that existed before Christmas. Who says generals don't like war?
Christmas Eve in 1914, stars were burning, burning bright.
With Red Rose.
Welcome back. I was a bit busy then, I'm sorry. Hello, Colleen.
Hello, Alan. I've just
Hello.
rang to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, I'm not having no Merry Christmases wished on this programme. It isn't a dedication programme, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. How do Mark?
Alright, Al. You there?
Yes, I'm here. There's nowhere else to go, really, in Preston at 12:10. Nowhere that I want to go, anyway. What do you want?
Tell me, is it possible, right, to get arrested for singing?
Yes.
It is. Well, the busies, right, in London, are a pack of liars. Do you want to know why?
I want to know why you think why. I don't agree with you before we go any further, because you said they are all a pack of liars, and of course there are some policemen that lie and there are some policemen that don't. Now, what is your excuse?
Well, when you go on the oath, right, in court...
When you go on the what?
No, you know, when you go on court...
When you take an oath, yes.
Yeah, we're supposed to tell the truth, aren't you?
You are supposed to tell the truth, yes.
Yeah, well, busies for lying.
But those particular busies, as you say, may well, in your view, have been lying. Did the court decide you were guilty?
Yeah.
Then you're the liar. Goodbye. How do Rob?
Hi, Alan. You know that song you just put on? Was that your choice this time?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, you got bad choice. Anyway.
I don't really care.
Good.
I'll do Brenda.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I think you were very rude to the lady with the pole.
I don't care what you think. I'll do Peter.
Hello, Alan. It's Captain Scarlet here.
Is it? Goodbye, Captain Scarlet. I've no doubt desire whatsoever to speak to you. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, Alan. Through no fault of my own, I've had to adopt 2 goldfish, and I think it's totally inhumane to keep goldfish in a bowl. And
Indeed, but is it in Fishmain?
And I was wondering, what would you think would be the most humane way to cook them? Fried or boiled?
I don't think either would be particularly acceptable. I think you ought to just really do nothing.
Well, I thought about putting them down the toilet, but they keep swimming back up again.
No, of course they do. Have you considered putting them in your teeth and holding them underwater for 10 hours?
I've got no
does
teeth.
it. Have you not?
No.
Oh, never mind. I'll do Matthew.
Hello, Alan. It's me again.
What do you mean, you again?
We can remember.
Oh, it's you, yes. I remember now, yes. I'll do Andrew.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to discuss the licensing laws in this country, because I think they're ridiculous. And I think they're also instrumental in causing young people to misuse and abuse alcohol.
Well, let's deal with your second point first. Why do you think they're instrumental in making young people? Would you like to define what you mean by young people?
People of the age 18, 19.
Right.
From observations in countries where the licensing laws are obviously a lot freer, you never see drunkenness in people of that age group.
Nonsense.
To the extent that you see in this country.
Nonsense.
No, it's not nonsense.
It is nonsense.
I mean, you see them regularly in this country, falling out of pubs, steamed out the brains.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say, I've seen rare occurrences of that on the continent.
Where are we talking about?
Well, France, Spain,
France.
Italy.
When you've been there on your holidays?
Well, I've spent some considerable time in France.
Mm-hmm. And nobody 18 and 19 gets drunk in France?
No, I'm not saying that. I didn't say that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I said that the incidence of that is a lot rarer over there than it is in this country.
And you blame that entirely on the licensing
Not
laws?
entirely on the licensing laws, but I think they're instrumental in it.
Fine.
Which is what I said.
Go.
Because with restricting the opportunity for people to drink, they tend to go butt-wang and go over the top when they do get the opportunity. I think if there wasn't an age restriction and the public houses were allowed to open as and when they felt fit, I don't think you would get that problem, which is apparent.
Young people would still want their, what should we say, social life in the same dosage that they have it now. In other words, they still want to go out in the evening.
Oh, yes.
Are you suggesting that young people go out at, say, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock, throw down 14 pints of loopy juice, and then move on to a disco? Because I don't think that's exactly right. In what way are you suggesting that these restricted licensing hours affect young people? Particularly young people, for some reason you chose.
Well, I'm just citing them as an example. I think the licensing laws as a whole are enough.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that. I just don't understand why you picked young people to identify your statement.
The reason I picked them to identify the statement was because under the age of 18, they're not allowed to drink.
Yes. Would you like them to be allowed to?
Yes.
You would? Would you like any lower age limit?
I don't think there's any need for it.
That wasn't the question.
No.
You wouldn't like a lower age limit?
No.
So you'd be perfectly happy, and I know this sounds ludicrous, you'd be perfectly happy if you stood at the bar and an 11-year-old walked in with all his pocket money for that week and said, 2 pints of bitter, please?
perfectly happy with a situation where he could do that, because...
Why?
I don't honestly believe that would happen.
Do you not think, Andrew, well, it probably would, actually, but do you not think that what we need isn't just a change in licensing laws, and we do, desperately, but what we need is a change in the whole use of alcohol in this country?
I think people need educating, yes.
Mm.
Because the only way I can sort of relate to it is that if you put somebody in a chocolate factory, right, with an availability of chocolates under their nose all day long,
yes,
they don't eat them.
But there are very few things they do at first, incidentally.
Yeah, they do at first, okay.
Right.
Which will be the transitional period.
Yes.
But
now we have a problem. We have a problem here. Chocolates, no matter how many you eat in the early stages, are unlikely to create any kind of emotional, what should we say, dependence. Whereas alcohol can become emotionally addictive. And chocolates can also, but are unlikely to in the same way. So,
yeah, but
that honeymoon period, as it were, is a very dangerous period where alcohol is concerned. So, yes, we agree on the need for re-education on the use of alcohol. Yes, we agree on the need for a change in licensing laws. No, we don't agree that we do that from the point of view of young people misuse alcohol. Young people will continue to misuse it.
Well, I mean, as I say, the only way I can put that is, or the only way I can personally relate to it, when I was brought up, there was always an availability of alcohol in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always available for my use if I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, if my parents weren't in a position to sort of let me get blottoed every night, but it was there if I decided I wanted a beer with them or
but Andrew,
whatever.
The policy you advocate, allowing this 11-year-old example to go into the public house and buy it for him or herself legitimately, is a policy of allowing the child to get blotto should it choose to, which of course is a policy that your parents didn't permit.
Okay.
So you had an element of control.
Okay.
You were talking about removing control. Now I'm against that. I'm very happy to negotiate, if you like, or to discuss with you the degree of control, but I don't like the idea of removing control altogether, which is what you first of all advocated.
Again, to relate to the continent, particularly to France, an 11-year-old can walk in to a bar.
Indeed he can, or she can. The difference in France is they, and indeed in many other European countries, as you rightly say, they have an entirely different view of the use of alcohol. Their educational process has been there now since time immemorial. So it doesn't really matter that the licensing laws in France are non-existent. What matters is how we get ourselves out of the situation we are in. Now, deregulating will not I don't think anyway, would within one generation bring us to a state similar to that in France. In fact, I think it would send us further down the road to alcoholic ruin. What we need is a different element of control, but not no control.
So you would advocate, maintaining an age limit?
For the time being, yes.
So you can see that the system is working in France, in that the number of alcoholics over there, as a percentage of population, is not as bad as this country.
I'm prepared to accept that. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I don't know the statistics for myself,
right,
but I'm perfectly prepared to accept that. However, it's rather like saying that they drive on the right-hand side in France. I think their statistics are higher as it happens, but just for the sake of this conversation, they drive on the right-hand side in France and it's safer because they've got less accidents. Why don't we start doing it? And of course, that isn't a sensible argument because our driving system has developed on the left-hand side. Well, while our use of alcohol has developed within the confines of our legislation and our social atmosphere, which is entirely different to that in France. So merely adopting their regulations, or the lack of them, simply because it works for them, doesn't mean it will work for us. I think that is an excellent objective. We ought to work towards that.
Right.
But I think we're talking a number of generations at least.
Well, you've contradicted yourself already there.
Well, tell me.
Because, you said it was an excellent objective to aim towards it.
Yes, I'm talking about the family control of alcohol. I think it's an excellent objective, but not for today, tomorrow, or next year.
Right, okay. Well, as I say, I mean, we're more or less level then on what we're thinking.
Not really. We started off at the very outset.
Yes, I want I want to deregulate the licensing laws altogether.
Right. Now, are you saying that we should do that in...
I agree with you to the point that it is impractical to do it in one stage.
Fine. Then we can have a degree of agreement then.
Yeah, and I also agree with you that people do need educating.
Absolutely.
But I still refer to my early point that I do think a lot of the misuse and abuse by young people is brought to prominence by the ridiculous licensing laws we've got in this country.
I'm prepared to accept that.
Yeah.
But I don't think removing it would remove the irresponsibility created by its existence. The irresponsibility is there. It is in the way they, should we say, use alcohol, the way they view alcohol.
Yeah.
The way they're taught to view it. What we need is to change that first, and actually to make the licensing regulations, as opposed to just the times they open, but to make the age controls redundant rather than get rid of them. And then when they become redundant, allow them to lie into disuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Alan.
Cheers, ta.
The new Preston Pendle Travel Shop opens this Saturday in Friargate, Preston, offering you a complete travel service for your summer '86 holiday. The Bosco Steel Band will be there together with Betty Turpin from Coronation Street, and you can join in the celebrations with free cheese and wine. Call in for your free summer '86 brochures, see videos of your choice of holiday locations both at home and abroad, and take advantage of our special opening offers, such as 2 weeks in Tenerife for only £169. It's all part of the complete travel service from the new Preston Pendle Travel Shop, opening this Saturday in Friargate, Preston. Who said opposites don't attract? They do when they're both bustling markets crammed with Christmas goodies of every kind. The New Market and the M2 Market, Waterloo Road, Blackpool, are two of a kind. Well, almost. Everything under two roofs. Latest fashion, footwear, cards, photographic equipment, tobacco products, undies, menswear, lighting, top quality foods of all kinds, sweets and chocolates, jewellery, towels, bedding, toys, furs, handbags, nightwear, phew, and a special price Christmas lunch in our cafeteria. Even Father Christmas with a free toy for the under-8s. See you soon. The New Market, Waterloo Road, Blackpool.
It's the place to come, where shopping can be fun. The New Market, Waterloo Road.
Hello, Pete Reeves here. Last Christmas, and indeed every Christmas, people are injured, seriously injured, or even killed in Lancashire as a result of drinking and driving. Not only have motorists who've been drinking become casualties, but also innocent people. Other drivers, riders and pedestrians have been injured or have lost their life, leaving children parentless and parents childless. So this year, if you think you can drink and drive, think again. Think of others, not yourself. Please help to keep death and injury off the roads of Lancashire this Christmas. Don't drink and drive.
This message was brought to you by Lancashire County Council Road Safety Section, caring for your safety at all times.
Well done, Pete. How do Dina? Whoops, wrong line. Hello, Dina.
Hello.
Hello.
When I get older, losing my hair, many years from now, will you still be sending me a valentine? Birthday greetings, a bottle of wine. When I stay out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still meet me? Will you still greet me when I'm 64? All the best, Alan.
And yourself.
Thank you.
I'll do Robert.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to deliver to you a little melodic soliloquy if I may. It's not in any way sexual or detrimental.
Am I going
to the
to be
programme.
impressed by... Well,
Sorry?
I shall decide whether it's detrimental to the programme or not. Let us hear this soliloquy.
Okay, here we go. African night flight, one time, more men falling, hullabaloo, I slide the nearest bar, and the mind...
Boring. 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 I'll do Mike.
Away in a alehouse, basically dead, because all of the people...
How very droll. Hello, Stuart.
Hello, Alan.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm just ringing up to your feelings on the CB radio, about the Citizens Band radio. I believe you don't like it, is that true?
I don't give opinions for the purpose of starting conversations. If you have not an opinion of your own, then why have you bothered ringing?
No, say my opinion is the fact that I've heard you before sort of like slagging the people down.
Would you like to tell us what your opinion is of CB as opposed to what your opinion of my opinion is?
Well, no, but I am on the CB myself.
Not at the moment, you're not.
Well, no, not at the moment, because I'm talking
I do appreciate that it's difficult for someone that plays at radio to understand that to communicate you need to use a joint language. Now, Stuart, you're on the real radio now. This isn't a game, this is reality. So would you like to confine yourself to language that we can all understand and get some...
Well, this is what I'm doing, Alan, yeah.
Well, you may well feel that you're doing that, Stuart. Unfortunately, the reality is in the alternative, indeed, in the contrary. Now, Stuart, would you like to tell me what you think of CB?
Yeah, well, I have heard you before...
Stuart! Would you like to tell me what you think of CB?
I think it's great.
Thank you. That wasn't difficult, was it? I'll do Ali.
Right, Al.
Too young. I'll do Matthew.
Hello, Alan. Hi.
Fed up of you. I'll do David.
Hello, Alan. The other night, I was coming home from the football match, and I got punched in the face by a policeman. I know his number and that, and I'd like to know...
Then report him.
Yeah, I'd like to know what had happened to him, though, if it did.
And that rather depends on whether anybody believes you.
Yeah,
why did he punch you in the face?
I don't know. He just come up to me...
Did you not ask him?
No, I didn't, wait it down to ask him.
I see. Well, would you like to report him, and then you'll discover what will happen to him?
Yeah, well, that's what I've...
Night and day.
De Beers are forever. Call in. We're certain you'll be surprised at the marvelous selection of gold jewelry, including rings, bracelets, necklets and earrings, with a dazzling display of diamonds. See a wealth of variety in style, design and price range. Make sure you visit soon. See for yourself why we say that De Beers, like diamonds, are forever. De Beers, 7 Burley Street, Blackpool.
Because your car ain't right for you.
Bradshaw's Car Delight.
New and used, they've got it right.
Cars with dealer bill.
Lowest prices, it's a steal.
Bradshaw's have today
400 cars to drive away. So who you gonna call?
Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Prison 54083. There's a car for you at Bradshaw.
Who's the biggest Ford dealer?
Bradshaw.
And where'd you get the best deals? I can't hear you.
Hey, Bradshaw's!
Right. Are you still wondering what to do for Christmas? The Headlands Hotel on South Promenade, Blackpool has a last-minute cancellation for its Christmas house party. Phone the Headlands on Blackpool 41179 for details.
I'll do Pierre.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Where the treetops glisten and the children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
Boys, every Christmas card I write, may your dreams be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
I'm sure Mr. Crosby is at this moment revolving in his grave. Thank you, Pierre.
Joyeux Noël.
Hi, and you. How do Noel? Oh, sorry, Bill. I can't wait any longer. How do Ralph? Thank you very much, Ralph. Let us hope you get a better toy for this Christmas. Hello, Gary.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? I wonder if you could help me, you know, when I come up to Christmas, you know the price of the taxis, the Acme taxis?
Acme taxis, yes.
Well, like, how much can they charge over the odds on Christmas night?
I have no idea. Perhaps you ought to ring the watch committee or the local authority that licensed them, for it's different in each area.
Yeah. Oh, okay, then thanks a lot.
Okay. All right. I'll do Terry.
I'll do Alan. Why are people so selfish and always unhappy?
I'm never unhappy.
You don't sound too happy on the radio when I've heard you.
Not bothered.
Oh, but it bothers me because I think people should always be happy, and
I am happy.
you are.
That's true.
It'd brighten my life up if at least you showed to me that you were happy, because it bothers me.
I don't see why I should show to you that I'm happy.
The other people who ring up on the radio don't seem to be happy.
Well, I'm not bothered about them. I can only speak
that
for
should
me.
make you unhappy that you're not
It
listening.
doesn't make me unhappy.
It makes you happy.
I didn't say that. I said it does not make me unhappy.
But you can't be in between, can you?
I didn't say I was in between.
Which
I said I am happy.
You are happy?
I am not happy because other people are unhappy. I am happy because I have a happy life and I enjoy my work.
Oh, lovely to hear that. Do you think they are happy?
I don't know or care.
But you should care.
You may well think I should. I will make my own mind up as to what I should or do feel.
Oh, but are they happy though, in your opinion?
I've already said I do not know.
Opinion?
I do not know.
No, or think?
I have no desire to consider the matter.
That
It isn't important to me.
But that's a very sad way to be.
In your view, yes,
Yeah.
but I am happy, and that is all that counts to me.
Well,
Terry, you came on saying that you want people to be happy.
Yep.
I have told you that I am happy, and you are now doing your utmost to convince me that I ought to be unhappy given my views. How can you relate that to your objective of making people happy? You were trying to talk me into being unhappy.
I'm trying to make
How ludicrous.
I'm trying to make you think yourself into...
No, what you're trying to
whether you
do...
are happy or unhappy.
What you're trying to do, Terry, and you cannot surely be trying to make me decide whether I'm happy or unhappy, given that I have repeated on 4 or 5 occasions during this short and so far ludicrous, futile conversation that I am happy. So your objective has surely been attained.
As long as you're happy, Alan, I am happy.
I'd prefer you were dead. I'd be happier still then. Hello, John.
Hello, John.
No, you're John. I am Alan. Ring me back when you understand your name. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Alan. I wonder if I could ask you some advice, please.
You can ask.
I'd like to know if you know the time limit for which you can claim compensation after a motor accident.
If I remember correctly, it's 6 years.
It is 6 years.
Or it might be 3.
Oh, so you don't think it's any longer than 6?
I don't think it's longer than 6, but it can be extended. Not extended, but you can be allowed a claim after time in very unusual, extenuating circumstances, such as if you spent those 6 years unconscious, it would be difficult for you to bring a claim.
So it's going to be very difficult unless it's such extreme circumstances.
I would suggest so, yes.
You see, my situation is that I had a motorbike accident 7 years ago,
Mm.
and I was 16 at the time, and although very inexperienced, I believe it wasn't completely my fault.
That suggests that it was your fault to some degree.
To some degree, so it's going to be more difficult, isn't it?
It's going to be a lot more difficult, because if they allow you to claim, they have to allow your, if you like, the plaintiff, and as the plaintiff, they have to allow the defendant to counterclaim from you on the basis of your admitted responsibility.
Obviously, if I took it that far, I wouldn't have to put it that way then, would I?
You would, if you're saying that you want to claim on the basis that you have no liability, then that would be interesting, because it means you want to lie on oath.
But
Why do you want to bring the claim now?
Well, it depends on which way you look at it. The thing is, it was quite serious, and I was affected quite permanently.